to STV News. This is Nahin Tahir with our headlines. Further deterioration of overall flood situation in Sylhet, lack of clean water has spread various diseases including diarrhea. UN High Commissioner for Refugees arrived in Dhaka today on a 5-day visit to discuss the needs of Rohingyas. FBI will help the Anti-Corruption Commission (ACC) in bringing back the money laundered to USA and Canada. Dhaka woke up to a rainy and pleasant morning on Saturday thanks to a nor'wester that lashed the metropolis. The weather department recorded 42 millimeters of rainfall in the past 24 hours till 6 a.m. Though the showers brought the much-needed reprieve the residents from the sizzling summer heat, they brought back the obvious miseries. Rush hour traffic snarls. The worst affected were the office-goers and school-going children as traffic crawled in several busy stretches of the densely populated metropolis due to the rain. According to the regular bulletin of the Met Office, rain or thunderstorms with intense lightning flashes and temporary gusty or squally wind is likely to occur at many places over Rangpur, Rajshahi, Dhaka, Mymensingh and Sylhet divisions. Meanwhile, a couple of hours of downpour led to waterlogging in several parts of the Chattogram port city, making the lives of residents miserable. A massive onrush of flood water swept through at least 10 bordering villages by the Kushiara river banks in Sylhet on Friday afternoon after toppling an important flood protection embankment, marooning 25,000 people. Many of these newly flood-affected people in Zakiganj of Sylhet were likely to end up in flood shelters, while emergency government responders to the deteriorating situation said that lives were at stake because of the sudden flooding. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of people in the district have been affected by a water blockade for a week. Relief activities are inundated. Lack of clean water is spreading various diseases including diarrhea. City Mayor Ariful Haq Chaudhry urged everyone to come forward to help the flood victims. Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI) will help the Anti-Corruption Commission (ACC) in bringing back the money laundered to USA and Canada. FBI officials said this at a 3-day-long training on protecting public integrity, investigating and prosecuting complex corruption cases organized by the U.S. Embassy to increase skills of ACC investigation in dealings with money laundering. FBI will help recover and freeze money laundered to USA and Canada illegally or via Hyundai and send related documents to ACC. Upon the mutual legal assistance request, they will help ACC from where there and send the information quickly, said sources. Filippo Grandi, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, arrived in Dhaka on Saturday on a 5-day visit to discuss the needs of Rohingyas in Cox's Bazar and Passenger. Grandi will meet with representatives of the government of Bangladesh to discuss the ongoing response for Rohingya refugees in Cox's Bazar and Passenger. He will also highlight the needs for sustained international support when meeting with key donors and partners who support the humanitarian response in Cox's Bazar and Passenger, said the UN Refugee Agency on Saturday. During his visit to the camps and to Bhasanchar, Grandi will meet with the Rohingya refugees to discuss their needs, challenges and hopes for the future. State Minister for Foreign Affairs Mohammad Shahriar Alam told the UN Security Council that Bangladesh stands ready to share its good practices in agriculture and food security with the countries in comparable situation. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has joined the Global Champions Group on Global Crisis Response set up by the Secretary-General. Bangladesh stands ready to share good practices in the areas of agriculture and food security with countries in comparable situation, he said on Thursday, May 19th, while speaking at the Security Council open debate titled Conflict and Food Security. The state minister is leading a high-level Bangladesh delegation to the International Migration Review Forum. Viewers, we are taking a short break, so stay with us. Welcome back, and you're watching SCTV News. Now news from abroad. Despite recent calls between the Pentagon chief and the top U.S. military general with their Russian counterparts, Secretary of State Antonio Blinken and other senior U.S. diplomats are not ready to follow suit with Russian diplomats. Meanwhile, State Department spokesman Ned Price said there were no indication that such a call between U.S. and Russian diplomats would help decrease the violence in Ukraine. Price highlighted Blinken's effort prior to Russian invasion of Ukraine to try to forestall what may well have been and inevitably the whole time, leaving the door open to diplomacy. Price said any dialogue needs to have the potential for a constructive outcome. In this case, the ultimate overriding objective is a detrimental of violence in Ukraine, leading to an end of this brutal war of aggression, this brutal war of choice. If US feel that a conversation has a potential to save life, they won't hesitate to do that. Unlike India, facing intense heat wave, or France battling drought, Brazil this week has witnessed some of the most chilling temperatures ever seen in its southern states. Experts are not ruling out climate change and say that the extraordinary weather conditions are catalyzed by the subtropical storm Yacacan. Recife, a tropical city in the northeast of Brazil, is suddenly hit by a cold wave that pushes temperatures to impossible lows. Inhabitants are forced to adapt. Penguins make an unlikely appearance, and the global scientific community is left aghast. This week, Mendonça fictional world become a reality in the south Brazil, while Recife and other parts of the northeast continue to enjoy temperatures of around 28 degrees Celsius. Thermometers in the southern states have reached unprecedented lows. More than 80 cases of monkeypox have been confirmed in at least 12 countries. The World Health Organization has said another 50 suspected cases are being investigated without naming any countries, and warned that more cases are likely to be reported. Infections have been confirmed in 9 European countries as well as the US, Canada and Australia. Monkeypox is most common in remote parts of Central and West Africa. It is a rare viral infection which is usually mild and from which most people recover in a few weeks, according to the UK's National Health Service. The virus does not spread easily between people, and the risk to the wider public is said to be very low. There is no specific vaccine for monkeypox, but a smallpox jab offers 85% protection since the two viruses are quite similar.
As a whole, this shows that the virus was authorized by the FDA.
Australia's election frontrunner Antonio Albanese asked voters flocking to the polls Saturday to give his centre-left party a crack at running the country after a decade of conservative rule. Albanese, the 59-year-old Labour Party leader, was visibly buoyant, saying he was very positive about the outcome as he urged people to turn away from a divisive Prime Minister Scott Morrison. However, he, behind the pre-election polls, is telling voters to stick with him, boasting of a 48-year-old jobless rate of 3.9% in the resurgent post-lockdown economy, and warning that Albanese is a loose unit, incapable of managing the economy. 3 years ago, the 54-year-old Australian leader defied the polls in what he termed a miracle election win. This time, though, the gap is a little wider. Good. The Elysee Palace unveiled a revamped cabinet under new Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne a month after President Emmanuel Macron's re-election and a month before France's crucial parliament to repulse. Macron drafted in Catherine Colonna, French ambassador to the UK, as his new foreign minister, while keeping Bruno Le Maire as finance minister and Gerald Darmanin as interior minister. In terms of the biggest job, Macron is keeping on the centre-right Le Maire after he started the French economy through the COVID-19 crisis, with a big task ahead of France grapple with the cost of living crisis racking most developed countries. Macron is also going for continuity at the Interior Ministry, maintaining right-winger Gerald Darmanin in the post. Likewise, Eric Dupond-Moretti, formerly a famous defense lawyer loved and loathed for his pugnacious and successful style in court, remains Macron's justice minister.
After Macron's re-election to a second 5-year term.
Before ending, we go through the headlines again. Further deterioration of overall flood situation in Sylhet, lack of clean water has spread various diseases including diarrhea. UN High Commissioner for Refugees arrived in Dhaka today on a 5-day visit to discuss the needs of Rohingyas. FBI will help the Anti-Corruption Commission ACC in bringing back the money laundered to USA and Canada. You're up to date with our top stories so far here on SCTV. And to know the latest in SCTV news, visit www.sctv.tv. Stay with us.